the broadcast, then come back to the comment section and talk to Prince Jejeman. How are you?
Yes, Baba.
The
I'm fine.
Prince.
Oh, my good general. The
How are
Tucano Mike,
you,
Baba.
sir?
Respect. I'm fine. Are you?
Well, very well, thanks. You are my first caller again
Yeah.
tonight.
Yeah. Thank you so much for making me the first call again today.
Thank
Yeah.
you. Go on.
Baba. Yesterday, I talked about security. When I called in, we will not lose focus. Security is number one priority of any government that is a government.
It should be.
In it. So that is the reason why I always talk about security when there is need for it. You see, my good general, when I was in Nigeria, I'm just this first time I'm saying this publicly.
Hmm.
You see, there was a time I had a case at Banti. Banti, I had a case at Banti. That case is a friend of mine that it was just a business that we did or something. Yes, business. Then
Okay.
someone came in, and that's how we get to Banti. Banti at Yaba.
Hmm.
That case, I was a witness in that case. That my friend is the main accused.
Hmm.
But due to how the oppression there, I have to stay back. I say yes, I will remain in this matter to see the end. You know, we stayed in that station cell for good 1 month before they took the case to court. And that case in the court for 6 years, we were in the court
Hmm.
before the case was finally discharged and acquitted. While we were in the court, you know that somebody, the person that was accusing us in that case, there was somebody that he brought. This person, what he does is that anywhere he comes to court, any court around in Nigeria, anywhere he sees somebody that has case, he will buy the case.
Hmm.
They are connected to all these magistrates. You will see him come into the court. He will go into the magistrate office and come out. You understand? Then they will not bill you how much you are going to pay to settle out the case. If
Hmm.
you don't, that's how they will continue to drag you until you submit.
Until you conform.
Yes, my ego, something I found out when I was inside the cell. There was one guy, he was in that cell for good 4 years, ATM, awaiting trial. You know the why that guy was in the reason why they kept him there? They
Why?
came to arrest the sister. They said that the sister was befriending an armed robber. So when they came to the house to arrest the sister wasn't around. They arrested the boy, the brother. That boy was kept inside Banti for good 4 years. ATM, awaiting
Awaiting
trial.
trial.
His case was not hard. You understand? That's how bad that country is. That's how bad, dangerous that country is.
Hmm.
It's in Mayegu. If that country, if they don't dismantle that country, shut it down completely, life will continue to waste every day. I just say let me
Thank you so much, the
share
Prince.
this
Yeah.
with us on your channel today. Thank you,
Thank
yeah,
you.
for
Yeah,
the good
appreciate
job.
that. That's Prince Jejeman dropping his own piece to sharing. Tomorrow, let me say this to you again. Let me remind you. Tomorrow, the name of our program, the title of our program tomorrow is going to be Share Your Experience. Share with us. Okay? If you can do it in few minutes, share with us what was that thing, the last thing that got you made up your mind that you are leaving Nigeria. And it's going to be an open mic. We're going to do that tomorrow. Get ready for it. This is not going to be about us just talking about the wrongs and all of that in Nigeria. You are going to tell your story. What happened? When was that time that you felt like, Omo, this is it. I'm done. I'm going. And some of you have never looked back since then. I want you to start sharing that story now with so many of us. So let me take this. Hello there.
Please, my ego.
Yes, sir.
My ego, Baba.
Sir.
I've been keeping quiet since all these days, but this already talk this night just make me say we can chip in something.
That you cannot ignore.
Brother.
Okay, go ahead, please.
Honestly, a lot of things is happening. And I will make it brief. You know, when it comes to all this music and all those stuff, the business exists long time, but it's just in another level.
People never just paid attention, Neo.
No, they paid attention long time. Long time, especially in Lagos. I can tell you categorically, it's only one out of 10 big men in Lagos that doesn't push in dealing business.
The rice business, I be the cooking business. Let's be very clear, JJ.
Yeah. It's a business. Let's say deal. So the people understand now.
Okay.
It's 1 in 10 out of Lagos that doesn't do that business.
And
including the
so that's going on in that Lagos. And at the same as they say, now Igbos they push drug. So have we been lying to ourselves?
No. Brother.
It's been a free for all.
This thing I will tell you a story. I will tell you some my experience.
Oh, yeah.
My experience in early 90s. That was before Abacha died. That is around 95, 96. I went to somebody in Lagos. That time I was still I just started service, and I went with some people. The old man is a famous big man in that Ojota area, brother. The guy who died. All those, imagine at that time, what of the 80s? So the business is just on another level now. And I will advise people
right now they
what is going on with
the presidential jet to carry drug. Now, nobody go check. They are like biggest now. Yeah.
Oh, that is, the effect of what happened in the 80s, 90s is what you are seeing now. You understand? There was a time in Italy that he had to get to all those Americans to cop them. But not that those things stop completely in Italy. It still exists, but it's just in another level. That's what is going on in Nigeria. You see, when we talk of security, my brother, anybody who is in Nigeria wants to survive in Nigeria, you have to play into their way.
You have to play.
You have to fight
according to the rule, or else you're just wasting your time.
All this gangster that you are seeing started from courtesan, from Aye, Black Cars, all those whatever, Buka, all those groups. That's why this Mohbad couldn't get out of them, because it's like a network. And if you look at that Mali, it's like it belongs to all those Black Cars group. Even though he might not physically join them before, but he has been initiated. That I can't give too much detail. But these are what I'm saying. So that's why it's so hard for him to get out of that, broke out of that their shit. Because they are, even anywhere you go, because the police who you want to go and complain to is boys. Maybe the Oga might not belongs to the courtesan, belongs to the court. But the boys that is using at the office are also into the police. Well, so they join. They are all.
That's the Nigerian spokesperson. Are they Joby or something? With them there. That's the spokesperson for the police. That's the guy who said what MC Oluomo said in that video. It was just joking. He didn't mean it. That's the guy on the top. If you check your screen right now, you will see him at the top left.
Yeah, I know now.
It's a police officer.
I know, brother. So, brother, I can't say much because
I'll take another
but
one, JJ.
this is so this is what is
Because you are the
happening.
guy when you
Let
say you like to
everybody
speak in parables. And at the end of the day, you kind of always
yeah,
fight yourself in that same for you be fighting yourself to say, no, don't say it. Okay, say it. No, don't say it. Okay, say it. You know what? But I'm here for that.
that's it now. You see that I've been quiet
You have been.
because there's a lot to I have to keep things because now the people who are in power now, brother, if you mess up, you disappear. I won't say more than that. If you mess up, you will disappear. Trust me, that's it. You mess up, you disappear.
I'll take this one. JJ. Nice one. Yeah. I'll pay my Scotland. Anybody will want to make me disappear. You go need to use that that person will need to use that Umaru Diko style. They go drug me, they will kidnap me, drug me, put me in a crate. But the first thing is that you have to go through Agbeke. You will need to go through Agbeke. That means you have to kind of I don't know. For me, I know they leave my Scotland. But then they run their concentration camp from far. I'll be reporting. Hi there, Zeus.
Hey, my good general, my Gio.
Doing, man?
How is the family? I'm doing great. Thank you for the advice. We that have family and kids, I mean, most Nigerian cultures, what they do is once the man is dead, they're trying to get all your properties right away.
I mean?
Even there's some cultures, they want to get your wife.
Yes.
So
and if she's not going to agree, then they will send her away with the children, like Omo.
Yes.
Young soldiers should look inward though.
Yeah, you have your brothers, your own siblings, eyeing your wife. If she's beautiful, they're waiting for something to happen to you so that they can come and they say it's tradition. They forget every other thing about tradition, but they wait for you once you're no longer there. They want to get all your wife. They drive, everything. They want to claim everything. So that was a good advice, my God. Thank you for that.
Thank you so much.
Talking about I'm talking about Wole Soyinka.
Yes, sir.
I remember that this is a man that brought cultism into Nigeria. He started the pirates.
He did.
And stuff like that. Then, if you look at him too, there's so many things that, I mean, he started very good, but in the middle, he started changing. For example, how he got his Nobel laureate was when all African writers boycotted.
They did, though. They boycott. You know what I wanted to even say, Zeus, right? A lot of people need to know the history behind the Nobel laureate. Okay? That laureate they are giving people. The guy behind it invented something that later murdered billions of people. It's called dynamite. And that turned to what is used as bomb. When he discovered what he has invented, that's going to be the doom of this world. He gave all of his money. They paid him every of his estates, right? And he said everything from it.
Wow.
They should be using that to pay people who promote peace and researches in science. That he doesn't want his children. They don't inherit anything from him. Everything was like, you know what? I'm not going to take a kobo from it. And that's where you get the Nobel laureate you are hearing today. Long story, Zeus, please go on.
Yes, sir. Yeah, and again, from what you were touching today about the music industry in Nigeria, they're doing good, but most of them are using it as a front. Like I'm from the East, so I know all the moguls, the business moguls. I don't want to start mentioning their names, but I see who they affiliate themselves with. And they use music as a way to front as if, no, that's not what the business. You can see their buildings, you can see their associates and their affiliates. There's some that actually hang out with MC Oluomo recently, taking pictures and stuff like that. I don't want to call the Igbo man name, but they're all using music to front. We know actually what they're doing. And with the way that this young man died,
not even like E-Money? E-Money is one of them. I know that one.
No,
Obi is one of them. I know that one. And all the money laundering that is going on around them, and why they need that connection to stay covered. Baba, I know them all. If you know more, mention their names. I don't mind. I go mention their names.
I said, make you don't put my Lego.
Okay, man, no carry you go that side, Abi. So, Zeus, you know what you are doing. You know what you are doing, Zeus. You are like this woman, this police officer.
I will not allow you to. Hey, help me! If they carry me, they go. We are not know. Help me!
So if you don't want to mention them, I don't mention them. Don't mention others. Just continue.
So they're using it to front.
Mm-hmm.
So it's harder for you to want to pull up because they're really connected. And with this way the way our country going now, with the narco state structure that they're trying to build, it's going to be harder for anybody that's affiliated with them to actually get out. You actually have to be in now. This is a time that everything you don't want to bring it up front. You don't want to show people who they are because they are the high and mighty. And how do you bury the evidence? They just bury the evidence. There's no autopsy on this young man.
Yeah, it's a lawless place. Like, it's so ridiculous. It's not even a Muslim. It wasn't a Muslim. So there was no reason to hurriedly bury him, especially knowing what he's passed through. At least, if he has nothing when he's alive, he should get justice. But, I mean, Nigerians.
My ego, did you see the boy on they so humiliated him even till death.
I swear.
Do you know that they cannot even find a coffin as big
any befitting
as
coffin to? I don't even want to go into all those gory details, Baba.
They have to bend his neck. They have to bend his neck inside his coffin.
Like that. That's how they buried. That's the coffin. They couldn't find his size. They couldn't find money for somebody to build his size. And they forced him in it, and they even took the picture like that. This is how it was
bend his neck.
I saw it.
And they were busy trying to share his property.
Yes, so take his cars, take everything they can.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, my brother.
Thanks, man. Zeus. You see, I appreciate the fact that a lot of people are also following some of these things. But what I do is that I kind of put them together so that you can sit down there from the start to finish, and all of these stories, the ones you've heard, the ones you've never heard of, and all of them, I will bring all of them together in a one single package, and you can have a kind of a decision afterward and say, wow, really? So yeah, really. Hello.
Maji.
Yes, sir.
I'll go straight to the point, Maji. Prince
Please.
Speaking.
Go on.
It's not a coincidence that recently you were speaking about the establishment and their courts in Nigeria, especially coming from the angle of the religious, bodies, and also the elderly.
I know. Like they always kind of push us. They want to push us to lose our home training every time. Every time.
And this so-called narrative about he's an elderly person
for us.
When
they make us
he's a man of God.
See that thing happen true, Sha. See it happen or happen. When they make us look like now we get problem.
Yeah, he's a man of God. He's an elderly person. Maye,
Baba.
Only Soyinka should go and sit down.
Respectfully.
Looking at him, Mayegon, what Wole Soyinka has said. You see, I believe in objectivity and science. Everything that guy said, there is no objectivity in it.
Honestly.
And I feel so ashamed because I'm from Ogun State as well. And that coming from a man who happens to be, when we were growing up, like me, my father encouraged, to read. And one of the people we look up to are people like Wole Soyinka.
Tell them.
Some of his books, that my father had in his own archive, we respect Wole Soyinka a lot. And saying what he has said is, and also, the video I saw, I've seen that video a very long time ago, but I never thought that video, has a flip side to it. And I'm thinking a lot of things. Lots of people that Tinubu helped, I'm going to mention names, Dele Mohamed, running away from him. At least he was the one who gave him, when he was on exile the first time he got to United Kingdom, he gave him, gave him shelter and all that. But why is that people can't even, they can't even be with him, they can't even stay near him? And I remember he mentioned something about, this this so-called Escobar, this Koluman. And moving away from that, you find out that that is exactly whatever happens at the top just transcends into the society.
Straight up, Baba.
It's sometimes I want to encourage myself about. I feel so bad about the fact that I can't even travel to my country, not because of anything.
I still have people here, Baba. See, I still have people here that one way or the other, they still hope that something should happen and save Nigeria. And every time I tell them Nigeria cannot be saved, they are battling it within themselves to actually believe that. It's so difficult. And I know that some of you here, it's so difficult to believe that. Are you sure Nigeria cannot be saved, Mayegun?
It can be because the establishment.
I can. Well, I say, well, you will find out.
It's not
Disappointment
possible
upon disappointment, Baba.
I'm just going to make 2 points so that I can let other people speak.
Sorry,
because the establishment, they're taking over everything. It's taking, and when money is involved, Yorùbá ní tójú tẹnu bá jẹ ojú máa tì, àbí bẹ́ẹ̀ kọ́. It's so bad, and there is no remedy to it. Sometimes I want to feel bad I can't even travel. It's not that I'm on exile, I'm not a fugitive, but the fear of, even from the airport, look at the guy you just mentioned. If anything happens to me, if I get to my home country and I discover that something is not right, with my own mentality about, what the police should be.
Coming from, let's do the right
coming
thing.
From. The fear of me even going to the police in the first place, the people that are, the institution that believe
imagine you fighting for your life,
me,
whereby you could lose your life simply because you are trying to correct something that is wrong.
All those things will just make me. I just give myself a love. I'm like, no, don't even make that mistake, because you can never tell anything. You don't know the day it's going to happen.
You just don't know.
Don't even think about it. Except you want to go in there. Like you can't just be in one room till you leave.
No, I mean, like, you just be yourself. Like when you go in there, just don't try to make it look like you wanted to correct anything. Just flow with them and flow out.
What do I even want to go and do rather than old friends that we'll see on we thank God for the social media that we make video calls, but see in flesh. You understand? It is well. Well, I should go and sit down. There's no. I am more after obedience, or maybe will be even winning the election. Like you
right. See, Baba. See,
the main point. He left the main point off. We did not even talk about the main point. The person we're talking about, the culprit.
Yeah.
The person himself. That is the person you left all that to. You see the way they brainwash Nigerians.
Yeah.
You see the way Wole Soyinka has spoken now. Not to silence that aspect. Aspect of it. Now focused on the election and started gaslighting the obedience. He never mentioned anything about, the controversy around the certificate and the job. You see? Punish him.
Not even Baba. See, Baba, not even the economy that Buhari, his friend, destroyed. That everybody is suffering it right now. It didn't even, see.
Mayegun,
I asked earlier, I said, I mean, if you pay attention very well, like you try to understand where it's coming from, and then you begin to be like, oh, my Baba, she lose some training me because of this, but she could what? Bye. Seriously. Hello.
Hello, Michael.
Hello, ma'am. How are you?
I'm fine, thank you.
Is that Sham, ma'am? Is that you?
Yes, it's Cham.
What happened yesterday? I was so happy to get you connected, but it never connected.
I was so happy to be finally connected. I've been trying to call for how many days now since they had the what's that fake judiciary region.
Yeah. But well, we can do all of that now. I mean, like, we are here now. It's just that every day one problem, one another. So yeah, you have the floor, please.
Okay, so just a couple of things. First of all, like again, I know that people call in and they always talk about appreciating your show. But I don't even, I think this morning I was thinking about your show and I was thinking, I'm not even sure how I stumbled upon this show. Do you understand? And I started watching it. I have learned so much,
Bless
and I talk to my siblings and I say to them, we talk about religion and everything. I think about the impact of religion on our country, right? How, like you said, we so revere our elders, and it is right that we should revere our elders. But I think what is happening right now is that in revering our elders, you can disregard when they are, when they're being absolutely foolish.
Like using reverse psychology on us. Like I have
to be able to
go on.
We should have to be a society where if our elders should be able to we can correct our elders.
Yes.
Because even the Bible says out of the mouth of babes and sucklings. So, I mean, wisdom is not the purview of the elderly.
No.
So we can still find wisdom in children. You can still find wisdom in, adolescents and things like that.
That's right.
So, and I say all of this to say that, Soyinka is a massive disappointment. He was one of those people that anybody who was going to school, we looked up to. He was, we had TKOB, the mathematician. We talked about him. We talked about people like, what do you call it? Chino Achebe. About people like Wole Soyinka and things like that. And we all aspired, to be like these people. Right? To be notary like these people. But now, like you said, if you live long enough, you see your heroes turn into villains. And that is exactly what has happened with Wole Soyinka. It is really sad that nobody has called out the fraud that Tinubu is, because he's a fraud. We don't even know who he is, And people, I had a conversation with someone today,
right? And
the person said to me, give Tinubu a year. And I was like, this is somebody I deeply respect. Do you understand? And I said, give Tinubu a year. I was like, confused. I said, what are you talking about?
That's what they do. Then afterward, they will now start making you feel like you are the problem. Well, they'll say, but it has happened now. Maybe that's how God wanted it. If you say, no, God doesn't want it. They say, but okay, it has happened. You can't change it. Nobody is trying to change it, but we are questioning the process, which has divided Nigeria more. You should be concerned.
You should, exactly. This was the argument I was having with him. I said, you should be concerned.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of the time when people who are against, what's his name, Peter Obi, it's because the man is excellent. And his type of excellence demands that you also be excellent. And we as a country, we have been, whether we like it or not. And in fact, listening to Soyinka, I know that we have been hoodwinked for the longest time. Nigeria didn't stop happening. Exactly. And Nigeria didn't start happening to us 10 years ago, 15 years ago. No. Nigeria has been happening to us for a long
from the day we were born, Sham. Add it that way. We were born to be conditioned, programmed to be like this, be like that, be like this, be like that. But they lost the plot along the way. They lost the plot out of their greed. They couldn't satisfy their own part of the deal. They said, go to school, right? After that, and you get a job. They start a family. But they held on to their own part of the bargain. They never gave back. At the end of the day, they lost the whole plot. Here we are today.
Exactly. Here we are. Here we are. You were showing, may his soul rest in peace. I don't really know the story around this Mohbad. Young man, because to be honest, I'll be very honest with you. I don't listen to today's music I don't. So, I'm not really, into any music at all. So, but God rest his soul. I mean, to each their own. I just don't listen to today's music. So anyway, God rest his soul. You were showing how he was being buried, the road, the mega city that Tinubu created for us, that he beats his chest and he says that, oh yes, this is I made a mega city. Yeah. This is the mega city with roads that almost submerged in water and things like that. That is our mega city. That is the what's it called? That is the CV he runs on, and we all stand and nobody is saying anything about it. From your show, I've learned again that our religious leaders are not to be trusted. Our royal fathers, I'm sorry, if anybody,
maybe not all of them, they will say, but
the royal
indeed, the institutions cannot be trusted. No, they are part of them.
They cannot be trusted. All of these people, and I feel that that's part of where Soyinka was compromised. When he started associating with Bola Tinubu, when he started, maybe taking money from him, because I think he took money from him. I don't know. I have no proof.
He said it now. What do you mean you don't know? You watched the video, and he said he became a business partner with Tinubu, trading rice to make money to sponsor the revolution. Did you miss that? He made money from Tinubu. He said he's a trader that only needed his signature, right, to get his rice from Thailand. He said it, and they made money for the struggle. Yeah, he did.
For the struggle in quote. Now, so he's already compromised, because maybe when he gets to know the truth of exactly what was in this so-called rice route that we're taking, right? He found out that, okay, I'm compromised. And in order to maintain that air of Nobel laureate and all that, he has to go along to get out. He can't come out of it anymore. And like I think the previous caller, he was one of those people that started this whole cult movement. I think Nigeria's problem is a multi-dimensional one, because we don't have religious leaders that we can rely on. Nobody is willing to put their necks out there. Instead, all of this pastor deferency, they use their phonetics and whatever to brainwash everybody there.
They are part of the establishment.
They are part of the establishment. They are part of the all the multiple columns that are going on in Nigeria. That when I listen to your show, I'm happy that there's a show like this. I can refer people to. I say, you guys need to watch what this guy is talking about, and he comes with receipts. It's not that he's just saying his own thing there. Exactly. And all of that. So I sit back and I listen to your show and I think to myself, how do we get out of this? Because it is easy to say, okay, let us fight for the constitution. I feel like it is only a legitimate government, and that's why I still push for. I don't know how things are going to be resolved with Obi. I don't know what the next step is. They want to go to the Supreme Court. Then after the Supreme Court, what next? Because I don't see the Supreme Court doing anything different from what this tribunal has done. Anyway. Okay. Now you're saying oh, let us revisit the constitution. An illegitimate government will never. Right?
Let me explain what that means. Okay, it is not just a saying, as like others. What we are trying to say here is that before now, remember, there are those who believe that election cannot save Nigeria, and they were like stupid people back then. Like, what are you saying? What do you want people to do? To boycott election? So how then what are they going to do when election is next year? We said that in a country with what we have witnessed in Nigeria, that people who care should ordinarily demand for a national conversation, which borders around that constitution. Okay, from that, if people still agree, right? If they agree, they can devise the type of democracy they actually want before they go into the type of election they want to go into. You know what I mean? Like, none of this will be able to be done.
Yeah, no, I understand. I don't even disagree with you. I don't disagree that not only does
it's actually what I wanted to add to it. You know what I wanted to add, right? You know what I wanted to add is that a lot of people who have tried, who wanted election and all of that, a lot of us have now seen a result. Instead of preparing for another one, how about everybody begin the message of, if Nigeria is not, if that national conference is not if Nigeria has no new constitution, if Nigeria is not this, you know what I mean? There shouldn't be any next election rather than people preparing for that. That could be a mass movement. Okay. Go on, Sham.
No, I don't disagree. I don't disagree with you. That can be that can be the next leg of the race, right? Because the reason why I said that I think the point I'm trying to make is you can't depend on this government, because the government is illegitimate, and this constitution that we have here allows this government to stay in. So you asking them to revisit or review this constitution and say to get me out of power, they're not about to do that. Okay, so if we had a legitimate government, then you can then say, you know what, the next step is we want to review this constitution. We want our constitution to define who a Nigerian is. And we want our constitution to say how we manage our resources. We want our constitution, just revisit, revise, review the entire constitution, because it doesn't work for anybody. Okay? So this is what I feel is the next step.
See, Sham, this is something that people like Soyinka, elder statesmen, should be
saying.
This is what they should be saying.
This is what our so-called royal fathers, our so-called religious leaders should be saying. What are we doing? The people in the north are dying.
Why can't we just figure this out before another election?
Exactly. Why can't we figure this out before the next election? Nothing is working.
Oh, no, they are gaslighting everybody. They are gaslighting all of us.
And finally, I just want to say that for all of the people in the diaspora, right? And especially, and I speak to those, especially who think that, okay, you know, I'm hashtag blessed because none of my family is in Nigeria. Listen, part of the problem that a lot of people, a lot of Black Americans have is that they feel disconnected from their roots because of that whole slave trade and everything, right? Now, they were forcibly taken. We willingly came, right? And then you're having children who will in turn have children who will then inherit that disconnection from their roots. Okay? So when you say it is not your problem, maybe not now, it's not your problem, but down the line, generations down the line, that would be a problem.
It's going to be a big problem.
Okay.
Absolutely.
So anyway, that's what I wanted to add.
Charm, you are a class. Thank you so much, ma. All right.
We
are all going to eventually queue back on the right line. All of us are learning now, okay, that divided will continue to fall. We are getting to a stage where a lot of people will know what it means to be united against your oppressor. We are getting there, but we shall see. Take care, ma'am. All right. Like they say, when you are living through history, it's very slow. What is wrong with people? Why can't they fight? Why are we not? One day you go just be like, say, hey, it don't start to, because we are living through it. It's always going to be slow. We are the history, yeah, that others are going to read about in few years to come. I have a caller. Hello.
Hello, Mayagun.
Hello, sir.
How are you doing?
I'm very well, sir. Thanks for asking. How are you?
I'm fine. I like this your smile. Really smile a person we don't win jackpot.
You know, it's called the screen smile. Sometimes it's fake. I've mastered it. At least nobody could detect that much. Thank you.
I'm calling from London. Yeah, I'm just saying that thing you said a couple of weeks ago. You know what? I think it's time to open church on your name. Was it the Mayagun Church of Salvation?
Well, that won't be far from it. I'll say
because when you were saying it, wrong. Yeah, people were thinking. The thing is that people don't understand. I'm seeing people saying, is that guy more important than people that died in NSAS? No, he's not important. He is one of those little triggers that is going to trigger the whole thing, the boiled up anger that has been building up. These guys have been doing this thing for years. Nobody was able to stop them. Nobody was able to say anything. For the first time, they panicked. For them to start locking down their social media and everything, they're beginning to realize, people are reacting. People are beginning to react. And what they are doing by all these steps they are doing, what people don't really realize, you're beginning to pinpoint who exactly is linked to who. By their actions, people are beginning to connect the dots. Okay, so that guy I saw the other day is linked to this person, is linked to this person. This is why this person said this. So what is going to culminate into all this, in my own analysis, is once they finish their Supreme Court with Peter Obi will have succeeded, or Labour Party, or all the people that were thinking that Mayegun, Nnamdi Kanu, Sunday who were all mad people saying that he should break up, will now realize that road that they are going, according to Nnamdi Kanu, there's no mileage. The mileage has finished. They've exhausted it. The other road they were trying to try, maybe let's go get police, they are all being controlled by people, and these people are linked to this person, to this person, to this person. What will now happen? It could just be like you just go to bar, you're having a drink, and somebody from the other group will just touch somebody, and people say, wait, people have done this too much. And that's how the whole thing will start.
There's a bro.
They will no longer blame you or any other person or Sunday.
Nobody.
The people will now revolt from there, and because it's unplanned, unexpected, the impact will be so much that to the point where there will be no place for everybody to run.
You see?
Because the person you're going to run to at the airport has already kept all the boiled down anger. Say, wait, you give me a gun, you pay me 30K a year. Your son that doesn't even go to school, I'm now guiding him. He will be the first one to shoot your son.
You know?
Because now people are now beginning to add up the numbers. Okay. So these guys have connection like this. These musicians are linked to this. The next thing is going to find out now, you're going to start seeing people start connecting to the military, to the guys in other sectors.
You know?
They will have all their profile and they'll be waiting. It's just one of them will make one mistake.
And that is exactly what it's going to be, like a domino effect. I'll give you an example, sir. 22 years, Omar al-Bashir held Sudan together. They called him a tyrant. That was like to say he was in control. But the day that the domino effect will happen, Omar al-Bashir became so worthless than the least person who has any kind of influence in Sudan. Same thing happens to so many other places where they felt like they were powerful and powerful until people revolted, and that happened. And it's bottling up in Nigeria. You are so right.
You see what's going to happen. Let me remind you what Omar Bashir case. Omar Bashir case, he used to janjaweed people to fight the Southern Sudan.
Yeah.
The person he created was didn't have military background.
Remember?
When the war was over, when Southern Sudan left, the guy now said, "You must give me a position in the government for me to continue to guarantee security of all the mining areas." And the generals that were generals said, "No, you did not go through military school. Why would you give this position?" And from there, the guy now revolted. When he revolted, the army is already divided into two. What is happening in Nigeria now? Boko Haram have got their own part in the government. The guys from South with what's his name? With
Asari and his guys.
Asari and have got their own part. MC Oluomo has come to Abuja to create his own part. And Nnamdi Kanu and his people are on the other side creating their own part. It takes one person crossing the other person's line.
Territory or the line.
It will trigger. And when it trigger, plus the boiled up anger of the people at the bottom, like one time Princess said, the people sitting on the people on the table are bent their back and people are eating on top of them. When those people now stand up, plus this warlord on different sections now stand up at the same time, because one person crossed the other person's path,
and just
then the whole thing has started. Then they will now start. They will say, "Where did it go wrong?" Because they've been giving us the rope, giving us the rope, giving us the rope. Go and get your PVC. That's one rope. You guys don't respect elders. We give them space. You guys, the law is there to support
if you feel like cheated, went to court.
You went to court. You go to Supreme Court. You go to Supreme Court.
Don't talk about it, or else you want to cause problem. You'll be arrested. Don't protest.
You're gaslighting us. You're intimidating the judiciary. All these things are boiled up anger of over 20-something years. By the time it will start with them. Don't be surprised. You see this in Havana. It will start with them. All these people that were complaining about, they're all one of our brothers and sisters from different parts of Nigeria. It just takes the way they did not agree with this guy that they killed now, this musician they didn't kill. It's the same way it's gonna happen to somebody that's more powerful within the group that will say, "You know what? My stake in this drug deal was 5,000. Why did you give me 1,000?" That is what's gonna cost from. And they will start fighting there. People just join. Before you know it, the clash has started.
Get the hint.
And before you know it, the whole place on fire.
I pray for that because I don't know why Legushi would deny Sam Larry. Like, did they kind of understand the consequences of this? So they decided to discard from it as early as possible. Or there's even more, and they don't want to get attached to all the other thing that is underlying stuff. Because I have no idea. I've been trying to figure out why the palace of Elegushi would deny him. Are people already pointing fingers? Or is it because of the pictures they've taken together in and outside Nigeria with the Oba? There's so much still.
The thing is, the rule of engagement when you're in this kind of situation is anybody that mess up, drop them out first.
Quickly, throw them under the bus.
Clear. When the air clear, then you get them back on board. You would remember when these whole politicians like PDP, APC, when they mess up in one party, they'll go to the other party.
They do.
These guys that are saying they did not do anything with them. If you're not doing something with the guy, how did you know the guy? Why was he having those access? Can you and me and you go to the same place he goes to free? No. So there must be something. Me calling you now is because you pick up my call because you know I'm one of your
exactly. Yeah, we have something that we are doing together. It's either you are watching me and you have my number, and then you know exactly now.
It's no coincidence that you go to the same party I attend. So they're just trying to play their own fast game. But what is going to happen now is they're probably going to drop the guy on the ground. And if the guy doesn't come back to his position when he's going to come back to the group, he will feel cheated. And he will start doing the same thing that Mohbad was supposed to do. But now he's not doing it at a larger scale. And the group begins to crumble from within. It's even going to add to some of the things that they're going to review by themselves. It's going to create more anger in people to the point that when the people react, there's no holding them back.
So people will have more and more reason why they will eventually want to break out of this whole kind of capture. I get that.
Mayo, you don't understand. Look at the number of army officers and police officers in Nigeria. All of them carrying gun, and you're paying a little amount of money, and these guys cannot even afford to send their children to school. Then you guys are living lavishly. Those guys are waiting for opportunity.
You know,
the day it will kick off now, you see all these people just move mufti, enter mufti. Okay, I'm trained. I even have the gun in my house. Now nobody's gonna ask me how many bullets did I use. You'll be surprised that the same people you're thinking is gonna be.
That will defend them. Will actually be the first to start firing at them. That's deep.
Thank you. That is how it's gonna be. And because those people live with them every day, they know where they can hide.
Exactly. They know when they bring money in. They know when they buy this. They know where they keep all these things. So if they kill them, they can take all those things. Now, if the country goes up in smoke, that's deep, Baba.
Who told people where the palliative were? There are people that saw the palliative. It's something that will happen. It's the same thing that's gonna happen. Just watch.
But how come they are not afraid? If the way you are thinking right now, right, is because of the state of Nigeria right now. How come they are not thinking like that? Because they have a lot to lose. Because they continue to do the same thing that will lead to where you are talking now, Abi. How come they are not seeing it the way we are seeing it? Or is it just because they don't care?
They're not thinking that way because
they are not.
They are bribing out of 100 people. They are bribing 20 to 30 police officers. What is going to happen now? Me and you are on the, let's assume me and you are on the same job. And every day you drive Lexus and we're on £7 an hour in London. Then one day I now realize, wait, I've been in this job for 30 years. I can't even afford to send my son to school. Two of my children are at home. My wife is sick. Then you now tell me, you don't understand. My boss has always been paying everything. Then it gets to my turn to be promoted to go and guide the next boss. They now promote you again. That pent-up anger is building up in the civil service, military, everywhere. It's going to take that person that is guiding them one day will be removed. Plus, these guys in this other side that are doing the street runs will feel cheated. The whole thing will snowball. And then, because these guys have their information, they tell you, a guy is going to the airport, you push away. They'll put it on Twitter there. Who gave David the military plan for Niger? Is he not somebody in the military? Has that ever happened before in Nigeria?
No,
it's never happened before.
No.
The anger is there. It's boiling up small. And as soon as it will happen, you yourself will be thinking, wait, is this thing I've been talking about this thing for years. Have they actually been listening to me, or did this just happen? And that's how it's going to go. It will be a surprise to everybody.
But take another one, Baba. You just took me to another perspective tonight, and it's not just me, I can tell you. A lot of people are there nodding their head like, it's true, the day go be. But there are others who are like pessimists, and they'll say, until that thing happen, I don't believe. You know? But like I said, when you are living through history, it is always slow, very slow.
Nobody expected answers. Nobody expected the election to go the way it went. People to come outside and take record of the election. Nobody expected anybody to challenge the election result with facts. We use all the avenue they're giving us to do legitimate things. They are pushing you to illegitimate. It's like most people say people commit crimes. A criminal is not always a criminal. The criminal has actually tried to do legitimate ways. And when you don't give him opportunity, he used the same skill set that I used to do the legitimate thing to do bad stuff. These guys have pushed population to a point where people graduate, no jobs.
You know,
the same people you have trained will now say, you know what? If this is what you want to play, let's play it your own way now. And by then, you realize that there's a difference between a crowd and a bunch of people.
Nice. I mean, what do you call vuvuzelas, praise singers? You're right. But I'm gonna take another one. I like that. Thank you so much for taking us through that. I kind of like it when people get on to be, in a way, more practical with their analysis. And then you sit down there and you begin to say, oh, okay, that's making sense. And that's exactly what Osita will tell us. One name.
Wow.
How are you?
In fact, I'm all right. My brother, I want you to play me that music, Ashishete.
Which one be that? Ashishete? Okay. I'll take you back to that. Just a second, okay?
Àtisebo, àtisete, àti ń parọ́ tipẹ́, àtisete, òtítọ́ òdìmú òdodo òsì mọ́, àtisete, kágbàdé fálárì, àtisete, kágbẹ̀bí fálárì, àtisete, adájọ́ ń parọ́ torí owó, àtisete, àdìsétẹ́ òṣèlú ń parọ́ nítorí ipò àdìsétẹ́ èdò gbówó mi ń tẹ́ àdìsétẹ́ ìjàǹjà aráàlú àdìsétẹ́
àdìsébo Osita.
Yeah. I wish everybody understand Yoruba so they will understand the lyrics of that particular music. For me, it's the music for the year 2023. You know, it shows what the people who were supposed to be the leaders of the masses, that is supposed to be a bridge between the government and the people. But what it is showing right now is the position they have taken. You know, sometimes, most times, it's because most of the people will call the heroes of our yesteryears, what the people they call the heroes of yesteryears, they are being called heroes because they don't have intellect like us today to verify them, to scrutinize them, to know if they are heroes or not.
Or zeros.
Or zeros. Everybody is saying, oh, he's compromised. He's not I don't even think he is compromised. Wole Soyinka, I removed that professor because the reason I removed that professor is even anytime I'm a Christian, but anytime any person that says is a man of God, when he does something wrong, especially in a situation, this situation we are facing today, and you come to say contrary, I will call you by your name. I will remove that pastor, that reverend, that imam. I will remove it from you, and I will call you out by your name, because your name is who you are. Wole Soyinka, everybody knows the story. His house, that's his house where he lives, his country home where he lives. The person that actually renovated it, let's forget about the Thailand rice. The person that renovated it was Remi Tunumbu. It is not a secret. So how do we think that somebody you've been in bed with all this while, and you think that somebody will come up and say, he will come up and say, this person is a bad person. If he tries to do that, they will bring out his dossier. So that is the way this thing works.
And that's why it is called reason. Establishment, in case those who are wondering.
Yes. Yes. So that is the reason most of the time, I, as a human rights activist, I have gone so far. If you tell me, as Nigeria is with that constitution, that I should come and become even a local government chairman, my brother, I am going to refuse it, because local
that's the right
government
thing to
chairman.
Do, except if you have a plan to just join them, but pretending. I have known this since I was 17.
Yes. So I will reject it, because at the end of the day, I will not be able to speak out.
No.
If you remember during Obasanjo's era, you remember that woman, Grange, that woman. The woman, if you
Grange, she was, I think she was for
health minister
or so then.
Health
I want
minister.
to remember her full name, but I remember Grange. Yes.
Yeah, but she's great. So, yeah, that woman, if you go and look at the story of that woman, the money they saw in her account, she did not put that money. She did not authorize that money to go into her account.
I remember.
But they forcefully put that money in her account just to stain her.
And accuse her for corruption.
Just to get,
I remember.
So this is when you think you are upright. Sometimes I look at Wole Soyinka, he doesn't even think at all, because the reason I said he doesn't think, when all these things was going on, sometimes I don't like talking about people that are in the same distance with me, background. They offered Chinua Achebe, Professor Chinua Achebe, they offered him the MON, the whatever in Nigeria.
In fact, it was offered at first. I think it was 3 times now that he rejected the national honor. Use national honor for it. Use national honor.
He rejected it. Yes, he rejected it. Another person is my own godfather. My own godfather in this race that we are into. when they told him that, oh, Chief Gani Fahimi, you'll be offered a SAN. He said his SAN. Yes, he said his own SAN is going to be for Senior Advocate of the Masses.
Sam.
That was what he gave to himself. He refused it. That is the only way you can talk. That is the way it will give the opportunity for you to say something about, but Wale Soyinka is not going to say that.
No.
Rather, instead of he will say that, we the younger ones, the younger generation, he would throw us under the bus and blame us. Is that the person you call professor? If people don't understand the meaning of a professor, the professor is the one that produces the best of students. That student that is not biased. You transfer it, you produce them, but you've not been able to produce anybody. So it is a breeding ground for us. Everybody knows his history. He started all this movement of cultism, whatever, in Nigeria. No matter how you see it to be that, oh, then we were not
defending
violent.
student rights or fighting.
We were defending student rights. Cultism is cultism.
So what it has now turned
because
out to be.
some of his stories, people don't say some of his stories anymore. That he went to Radio Ibadan. He went there with a gun. Where did he get it from? Was he licensed to have a gun?
Nobody has tried that in
and he hijacked
right now.
And he hijacked a radio station. Is that supposed to be right in a country where laws are bound? But because of laws are not bound, so at the end of the day, they can go to Aso Rock at any time. They can collect every Alleges they can collect, and without thinking about the ordinary people. The previous caller, she said something. Yes, and that is true. It is until we begin to have compassionate hearts. When you see that woman roasting corn, you will ask yourself, is this woman supposed to be roasting corn? When you go to my 12 and you see somebody pushing wheelbarrow, you will ask yourself, is this person supposed to be pushing wheelbarrow?
Just to feed.
But it's because all of us, in our own little way, we love oppression. We love to be called SARS. Remember, there was a day I said something that the biggest problem we are facing as a nation is elderly people. What those things they call elder. Until we begin to, yes, it's until you begin to call, the only person I am supposed to call daddy is my biological father. Until I begin to call my uncle, if his name is Bernard, I will call him Bernard. If his name is Soyinka, I will call him Soyinka. If his name is Ibrahim, I will call him Ibrahim. Until that day, then they will learn how to listen to us.
I mean, talk about it's our tradition, it's our culture. We cannot do like that. We need to respect this.
We cannot do like that.
And then you begin to say, is it also our culture, right, to be thieves?
Yeah.
Hypocrites, liars, even at old age. Is that also the culture? So that's where I will agree with you, Osita. Call them who they are, especially those ones who don't even deserve those,
So we abroad here, we in diaspora, we will see some white children. They will call you by name. Well, Mr. Osita, they will call you.
It is sincere and honest instead of lying to be but hypocrite.
And somehow, sometimes in my heart, I will say in my mind, this one doesn't. But at the end of the day, they keep getting it right. What we need to do, look at what other people used in getting things right. Emulate it. But what we do emulate is the wrong attitude, the wrong mentality. The wrong mentality that our elders, since our elders has refused to say the truth. I was telling one man the day we went to play football last week, and I was telling the man, I said, he's an elderly person. I said, since you guys have refused to say the truth, and you are telling us that Tinubu won the election, since you have refused to tell us the truth, then we will start telling you the truth. and the truth that I am telling you, I told him, you are a failure.
Insulting to you. You have to take it.
I told him, yes, I told him he's a failure. He said, why? I said, at your age, you shouldn't be living in America by now. You should have gone home to sleep. I said, as I am, I don't pray to God I remain in America at this your age.
When I get to your age.
So that's the way it is. So when they say they cannot say the truth, then we, the younger ones, will keep saying the truth. We'll start saying the truth. Thank you very much, my brother.
God bless you, sir. Thank you so much for all of that. And that is going to be the end of the broadcast tonight. Our time is up. So thank you for spending your evening with me. Again, if you join us midway, watch this from the start, okay? And if you actually started from the start to now, just like the broadcast before you leave, okay? Subscribe to my channel and then look forward to the premiere as well as the replay of these broadcasts tomorrow. Thank you so much, everyone. My super chatters, the commenters, the sharers, the likers, and then the new subscribers too. And including those who came here to see if they could have a fertile ground to defend absurdity. All of you, you've played your role tonight. We all got engaged. Thank you. I will see you some other time. Until then, don't ever stop watching Mayegun. A lot of people have told me it's a difficult choice to make. Don't try it. I'll see you again. Good night.
Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Mayegun làwa mọ̀ làmọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Mayegun ti dé o ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Lórí Facebook, lórí YouTube. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Gbogbo bó ṣe ń lọ ni Mayegun já wa sí. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Àṣírí ọ̀jẹ̀lú kì í bò níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Bó bá ṣe eré àní Mayegun máa wí. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Ó sì tún ṣe eré wàá gbọ́ níbẹ̀ o. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Mayegun Diary politico. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Godfatherism kò sí lọ́rọ̀ Mayegun. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Ẹ farabalẹ̀ sẹ́ o kẹgọ́rọ̀ lẹ́nu o. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Àní Mayegun làwa mọ̀ tó dòdòdò. Mayegun Diary Ayíbi #1. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí Facebook. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Lórí YouTube. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Bọ́ bàbá gbé wúrẹ́. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Ijó ìgbádìyẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Presido bá rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Bí gómìnà kówó jẹ. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọlọ́pàá ti ń darí bá. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Aṣòfin tí ń rúfin o. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Òpùrọ́ olóṣèlú. Mayegun máa wí. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. Àní ẹ̀sùn rákì. Mayegun ti dé. gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ o Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Wọ́n fowó bẹ́ẹ̀ Máyégún ó sọ pé wọ́n ò bẹ́ẹ̀. Oníkanṣá ti ṣe èyí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe fáwọn ará ìlú tó gbé wọn débẹ̀ o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Kì máa yí ṣe eré ọ̀rọ̀ yìí kì í ṣe ẹ̀fẹ̀. Ẹni bá ti lè lẹ́bọ̀ lẹ́rù o ọmọ bá dèrò kàṣà ìtú wọn síta.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.
Tẹnitẹni ọmọ Máyégún ọ̀rẹ́ ara ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni mo fọlọ́run ṣọ́ ẹ̀ bá kìlẹ́bù. Lóòótọ́ olódodo ìlú ọ̀tá ìlú mọ̀mọ́ ni ìwọ ṣá máa ń ṣọ́ra kò sì mọ́ bẹ̀rù. Bọ́tà ń lè rí bóníṣègùn lé káwọn mọ̀mọ́ fi ṣera wọn ni ó ti dẹrùn tí wọn ò gbọ́dọ̀ sè mọ́bẹ̀. Èèpo ọ̀bọ̀ lọmọ bá dérò tàjẹ́ ò gbọ́dọ̀ jẹ́ ó ti jọba lórí àbínú ẹni kò sì mọ́ bùyà. Àìsíwọ́lu ní ẹnìkẹ́ ìgbódì ẹyin lábàrá o ó kó ẹni tó bá dán o àkàmù. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ túnra kì o. Ẹni bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dèrò òní fi wọ́n níran o.
Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Máyégún ti dé gbogbo ọ̀jẹ̀lú ẹ̀ súnra kì. Ṣùgbọ́n ní bá ti ṣe yìí tó yẹ kí wọ́n ṣe ọmọ bá dẹ́rọ̀ ò ní fi wọ́n níran.